Your fucking mind, but seeking ye shall find. Seeking ye shall find.
This is mass madness, in God's name, you people are the real thing. We are the illusion.
Seeking ye shall find.
Have you ever felt like you don't belong on Earth? Like you have a deeper connection to the cosmos? You may be a starseed. Starseeds are individuals who originated from another planet or star system. They are cosmic souls, sent to Earth with a specific mission and purpose. Starseeds come in all shapes, sizes, and backgrounds, but they share common traits. They are highly sensitive, empathic, and have a strong desire to make a positive impact on the world. Leave a comment and let me know if you believe you are a starseed.
Seeking ye shall find. Seeking ye shall find. Seeking ye shall find.
What's up, world? It's your man Chaziel. This is Truth Lives Podcast, and we're here now. Now, a lot of you guys know, and if you don't, I grew up in the church. And when I started to get older and explore other belief systems, one of the first ones that stood out to me was the New Age philosophy. On the surface, it appears to be a harmless alternative to traditional religious sects. In actuality, it's the gateway to an endless dark rabbit hole that you or your guru of choice create as they go. Well, in Christianity, contrasting, it's the Antichrist and the secular world falling deep into sin. In some New Age circles, they synthesize the two philosophies into one narrative, cherry-picking what aspects fit into the fiction, utilizing different interpretations from the traditional view, and usually claiming the original interpretations were lost, altered, or only the starseeds or the 144,000 have eyes to see. The history of New Age spirituality is way too extensive for me to tackle in one episode, and I'm not even going to try. In future episodes, I'll explore many variants of New Age spirituality, offshoots, subcultures, but I want to focus on the starseeds here. We're going to dive into these pseudo topics, from pseudo history to pseudoscience. We're going to come to our own conclusions. What I'm going to talk about now is what happened kind of to me, and then I go into the history of the starseeds, and I'll go into why I believe that people align with Starseed lore. Space mysticism, whatever you want to call it, why it's so popular today. Around my late teens, into my early 20s, I got real deep into New Age philosophy, New Age spirituality. And I just can't help but notice all of the gurus and all of the teachers selling books and lotions and creams and elixirs and, all of this stuff. And at the time, I'm like, well, that's cool. I just think that it's cool. But the more and more that I get into it, the more and more that I see that these people are just using desperate people. A lot of people who are sick, have mental illnesses, and just people who don't have any hope or any faith in anything. And they're just trying to make $1 out of all of this. That's what I began to see. And I began to question that. And when I started to see that a lot of the New Age circles were plagiarists, whether it's from ancient times or it's contemporary times, whatever they can fit into their group, that's what they're going to fit in. And I noticed that the New Age just took from the Kabbalah and a bunch of Eastern philosophy, even Christianity, to create this narrative, and they were just inclusive. The way that they're able to be so popular, and I don't want to give away what I'm about to talk about next, but I guess I am a little bit. Anybody that's leaving a different spiritual system or just needs something to believe in, anything, New Age spirituality, specifically the Starseed lore or whatever you want to call it, is a perfect avenue, is a perfect lane for you to enter because you're guaranteed to be some type of starseed, whether you're Arcturian, whether you're Lyrian, whether you're Orion, coming from a person that has a background in spirituality, and even at this very point in my life, still believing in something. I'm coming at this topic from a different perspective than one who's just an atheist or a skeptic. I'm coming at it from a different perspective. I'm coming at it as a person who believes in spirituality, who doesn't believe in the mainstream authority. Not everything that they say. I don't think that the mainstream authority has the answers to everything, especially when it comes to our origin or our purpose or metaphysical, philosophical concepts. I don't think that academics will ever have a total understanding about that. I don't think that you will ever truly have any source that can ultimately be the authority to these types of ideals. I want to get that out first so people can clearly understand the perspective that I'm coming at this from. I'm not coming at this from the perspective of a total skeptic. I grew up, when I transitioned out of the family's belief system that I grew up in, I experimented with all of these different forms of spirituality in these religions, trying to find a spiritual connection. And I'm still doing that to this day. At this point in time, at this level of growth that I'm at now, I'm questioning everything that I've ever learned, everything that I've ever regurgitated. I just want to put that out first. So I'm not on the side of the left or the right. I'm not on the side of the fringe or the authoritative. We are coming to our own conclusions on these topics, because I don't want somebody to try to lump me in a group because you don't like what I'm saying or because you like what I am saying. As I go on the internet and I look around the internet for more information on the starseeds, all that I can seem to find is just people exploiting it, people capitalizing off of it, trying to make money, or either just, trying to figure out which starseed I am. Am I a Lyran starseed? Am I an Arcturian starseed? Am I an Orion? What type of starseed am I? Pleiadian? I don't get a whole lot of information on the origin. I don't get a whole lot of information on where did this thinking come from. When I do, it stems from people typically go back to the New Age. But when I pick it apart, I find different elements of the Starseed lore in many different types of philosophies and traditions, from Eastern philosophy to Western philosophy. It seems to be accompanied with the entire New Age movement, a synthesis, like I was saying earlier, between all of these belief systems creating this New Age spiritual concept. I'm regurgitating all of this to you now, but I've known all this stuff for years. But this is what I want to say about this whole thing. There are levels to it. There are those who are on the entry level, and the entry level is those who just want to be special. They want to be a part of something. They're not real deep into the starseed information, but if someone comes up to them, they may say that they're a starseed, and they may put it on their social media feed. That's the entry level of starseeds. Then you have the moderate level of starseed. Those are ones who not only do they believe in starseeds, but they're starting to get into the timeline within these different races, from the Alpha Draconian to their specific bloodline. So they're getting a little bit deeper. They're probably spending a little bit of money now on certain things, and their lifestyle is starting to change. That's the moderate level. And then you have the extreme level of starseeds and New Age practitioners, let's just call it. And these are the people who have gone all out. They completely disassociated out of reality, and they wholeheartedly believe they are a starseed, an indigo child, a rainbow child. So that's how I'm doing it. There's 3 levels or 3 tiers to it. Most people are on the first tier. It's just something cute. It's trendy. You can put it on your social media feed, and it's that. It's not that deep. The thing about this tier is they get recycled in and out, because most of these people eventually grow out of it, go on to the next trendy thing, forget all about starseeds and spirituality. But even though this one is the most flexible, I guess you can call it, they're needed the most, because they're the ones who keep this whole thing going. Okay, so you need these individuals coming in and aging out so the numbers can remain bolstered. Now, the third tier the people who are extremists, they've totally disassociated and they're starseeds. That's just their identity. Those are typically the ones who are two things. They have either been led astray so deep into a rabbit hole they can't get out and they're gone, or they're charlatans. Come on, you guys, we got to apply some common sense. And I'm into spirituality. I'm not trying to just totally dismiss the starseed or alien lore because I don't know. I haven't seen any proof. But we got to apply some common sense. If you've been writing book after book, selling product after product, making prediction after prediction, and nothing has transpired, because like I said earlier, it's a synthesis between this new age concept and ancient belief systems. And they use the idea of a Armageddon scenario. This whole idea that the starseeds are a superior race of beings who have superpowers, but somehow they've forgotten these abilities and their actual task for coming to this planet to somehow assist the human race from getting out of this animal beast state and ascending into higher states of consciousness. It resembles Gnosticism in certain respects. It resembles Sumerian mythology. So that's a little bit of where the starseeds, in conjunction with the New Age movement, is birthed out of. Because that's what I'm about to get into next. Where did the Starseed lore come out of? Well, it came out of the New Age concept. Where did this New Age whole thing come out of? Whenever I look it up, I get people trying to get you to join one of their movements. I get people trying to explain this alternate timeline, which there are dozens of them, basing some of these things on the Babylonian myth, basing some of these on the Christian myth. Hell, using all of these concepts, Egyptian pantheon, and making a synthesis out of them and trying to make one coherent narrative out of them. Who was the first to speak about starseeds? Because as a person that studies philosophy and tries to be practical, a person who studies spirituality and looks at things in a more symbolic manner, the Starseed lore and the New Age movement, they find themselves straying to another world. They want to be taken away from reality. They can't handle this. And one thing about me is, because I know you guys hear different topics and you guys hear about me talking about the elite and you guys hear me speaking about simulation theory and the matrix. These are definitely ideas that I believe in. But I try to always stay balanced. Always stay balanced and keep in mind your relative circumstances. Like I said in an earlier piece, if someone pinches you, if someone does something to you and causes pain, you're going to say, ouch. You're going to feel that pain. You removing or trying to remove yourself from reality isn't going to take you from reality. And you're being exploited by fake healers, fake channelers, fake gurus who simply just want to make money. They're trying to make $1. They may or may not have gone through wherever you are. And they've grown out of that and they realized, hey, all of these belief systems are the same. Just like the prosperity pimp, they realized, hey, I understand now. None of this is true, but there are millions of people who believe in it. I can take this and utilize it for my own interest. Now we have thousands of books on the rapture or Armageddon that hasn't taken place. 2012 prophecies, and I was all into that. I still remember 2012 prophecy. All of these predictions, these same gurus that you guys follow, predicted, never took place. Now we have other predictions, Phoenix predictions, and you notice the smart ones is always a real future time. But I guess if you need some immediate support or immediate success, oh, you'll say it's within the next 10, 20 years. And when it doesn't happen, oh, we can push the time back, or we can say that the interpretation was wrong, just like the Jehovah's Witnesses did with their predictions of the end times. I'm coming at this, you guys, from the perspective of a person that believes in spirituality, but that's practical. That's utilizing balance, looking at the logical and the intuitive. And when you put yourself in that state of mind where everything is spiritual, you lose sight, right? So what I'm going to get into next, you guys, is a little bit of the history of the Starseeds. And I'm going to be reading a little bit just to let you guys see and you know how these things are adopted, repackaged, and sold back to us so it can be politically correct in this day and era. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna be drawing from a few different sources. The Conversation, a website called The Philosophy of Life, because we're just looking at this from the most general outlook. This is a very rich topic. You can go a multitude of different directions like I've mentioned before. There isn't just one way to approach this topic. In future episodes, I'll definitely dive into other subculture, subgenres within the New Age philosophy. But here, we are specifically talking about the starseeds itself. And then we're going to kind of get a little bit into the New Age. We're just trying to look directly at the Starseed Lore and its rise in popularity. Now, what are starseeds? According to Wikipedia, star people or starseeds, sometimes called indigo children, are a variant of the belief in alien human hybrids and New Age belief and fringe theory, introduced by Brad Steger in his 1976 book, Gods of Aquarius. It argues that certain people originated as extraterrestrials and arrived on Earth through birth or as a walk-in to an existing human body. They claim to channel human life forms and suffer helplessness to total amnesia concerning their identity, origins, and life's purpose. The awakening process claimed to be experienced is described as either a gradual series of realizations over time or an abrupt and dramatic awakening of consciousness. Through the awakening process, they regain memory about the past, origins, and missions. Washington Post journalist Joel Achenbach interviewed people who said they were starseeds from the Pleiades for his book, Captured by Aliens, The Search for Life and Truth in a Very Large Universe, and noted the contrast with ufologists. The starseed are precisely the kind of New Age figures the traditional ufologists can't stand. Ufologists look outward towards the universe for answers to the alien enigma. The New Agers look inward. Now we're going to look at the origin of UFO mythology in the far-right occulture in the 1880s through the 1930s, because these helped influence much of the New Age philosophy and the concept of starseeds. At the end of the 19th century, the public imagination was filled with the idea of voyages to space and encounters with extraterrestrial civilizations. Italian astronomer Giovanni Schiaparelli had observed what looked like water channels on Mars, leading to exciting speculations the planet was filled with artificial canals. In 1902, George Méliès made the first science fiction movie, A Trip to the Moon. These fantasies found their way into the occulture. In 1900, French psychologist Theodore Flournoy published From India to the Planet Mars, an account of his hypnotism sessions with the medium Helene Smith. In trance states, Helene recounted past lives on Earth and also on Mars and Uranus. At the same time, members of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, a cult society whose members included W.B. Yeats and Aleister Crowley, practiced astral travel to other planets. These were extended visualization exercises in which the magicians sent their spirits out into space, where they sometimes encountered planetary and astral spirits. The Golden Dawn saw themselves as an elite organization dedicated to helping humanity evolve into superhumans. Sounds familiar, right? Part of this involved occult eugenics. The Golden Dawn thought you could draw powers from the stars in the spirit world during procreation and pregnancy, thereby creating what Aleister Crowley called a moon child. H.G. Wells, meanwhile, was imagining trips to space and alien invasions in his early science fiction novels. In War of the Worlds, 1898, he imagines blood-sucking octopi invading the Earth from Mars. But in most of his sci-fi works, he imagined superhumans encountering superhumans either from the future or from some parallel universe. These utopians, taller, smarter, and more beautiful than humans, warn that humanity is heading for catastrophe due to overpopulation, nuclear war, and ecological collapse. We need to evolve to a higher level through global government population control, ecological planning, and eugenics. Some humans are ascending into superhumans, but most are not. In one of his last novels, Star Begotten, a scientist starts to believe that an alien civilization is beaming rays onto Earth to alter the genetics of humanity. Some humans, including Hero, are star-begotten superior species spawned by these extraterrestrial rays, who will save the planet from catastrophe. This explains why a few people are so much smarter and more visionary than the masses. The Hero explains, but the most important occult influence for UFO culture is Theosophy. This was a new religious movement that appeared in the 1870s, invented by a Russian immigrant called Madame Helena Blavatsky. Theosophy emerged as a reaction to the triumph of Darwinism and scientific materialism in the 1860s and 1870s. Blavatsky offered her followers a synthesis of science and occult wisdom, which included her own spiritual version of evolution. She claimed that evolution was a progressive spiritual process guided by a handful of superhuman beings called the Masters, some of whom lived on Earth and some on other planets. Humanity, she claimed, had evolved for millions of years through various root races, including the Lemurians, the Atlanteans from Atlantis, and the present dominant race, the Aryans. A new root race is now emerging, allegedly, in California. There's an element of spiritual racism to this theory. Some races are spiritually lower and more primitive than others. Indeed, the sacred spark is missing in them. Other races are higher, such as the Aryans, although Blavatsky was quite scornful of Anglo-Saxons and her masters intended to be Indian. Like Darwin, Blavatsky thought lower races were destined to die out and be succeeded by higher races. Theosophy was taken up by various movements around the world, who imagined different versions of the coming super race. In Germany, Theosophists insisted the super race were Aryans. German Theosophy developed in the Völkisch culture of the 19th century, which celebrated the superiority of the German soul, German culture, the German Volk, German paganism, and so on. Figures like Houston Chamberlain, a British writer who emerged to Germany, wrote long treatises on the physical, cultural, and spiritual superiority of the Teutonic Nordic Aryan race. One finds this Aryan or white supremacy in German Theosophy. Rudolf Steiner, leader of Anthroposophy, claimed that all cultural achievements came from the white race, who are more spiritual and cosmic than other races. George Lance von Liebenfels, inventor of Aristosophy, claimed that the Aryan hero is on this planet the most complete incarnation of God and of the Spirit. In fact, Aryans have a different origin from other species. Quote, the race of full-blooded and whole Aryan man was not the result of natural selection alone. Instead, as the esoteric writings indicate, he was the result of a careful and conscious breeding process by higher and different kinds of beings, such as the Theozoa, Electrozoa, angels, etc., which once lived on this earth. Steiner and Lance both thought the Aryan race needed to be kept pure through measures such as segregation, miscegenation laws, and eugenics. Lance advocated the mass castration of other races to protect the purity of Aryan women. This sort of spiritual racism had a profound influence on the Nazis. Many leading Nazis, including Hitler, believed in the Hyperborean race theory, which suggested Aryans weren't the same species as other races, but had emerged from the lost civilization of Atlantis, somewhere in the frozen north. Hitler saw his spiritual mission as the purifying and perfecting of the blonde, blue-eyed Aryan race, and the subjugation or elimination of all inferior races. This dream survived beyond World War II. So, as this concept continued to evolve, it's been repackaged over and over. As the 60s counterculture exploded, elements of the UFO culture were adopted into the predecessor of the modern New Age movement, along with Eastern and Western esotericism, bringing with it the space drama and the echoes of pre-Diluvian genetic manipulation. Hence, why there are so many types of starseeds, aka races. From the theosophic framework, Aryans were the latest of the root races. An unknown new root race is evolving out of them. Blavatsky used Aryan as a generic term to define the root race that followed the Atlanteans. Based on the specific subgroup within the lore, depends on how the narrative plays out. Through the lens of a race-oriented starseed, the lower races are less spiritual and essentially puppets for the negative alien agenda, while the ruling class are actually shape-shifting reptilians. This concept differs slightly in most New Age circles. That's important to note. They take out the problematic racial theories and disseminate the lore in a modern, inclusive manner. However, the remnants of the origin remain. When it comes to the Pleiadians and when it comes to blonde-haired, blue-eyed aliens, that concept was taken and added to the New Age concept along with other Eastern philosophies and Western occultism. So, many movements and subcultures that followed Theosophy re-envisioned or reimagined her concept and made it fit their worldview. So Helena, she looked at these ascending masters as masters, and they could be humans who are already here or from other planets. Well, when fascists and different people who were involved in political movements reimagined these masters as extraterrestrials, especially around the 1940s and into the 50s. So not only do you have echoes of theosophy, occultism, but you have ufology and all of these belief systems from East and the West that make up now this new religious movement or spiritual movement, whatever you want to call it. Now, from the Philosophy of Life website, before Starseeds, you had Crowley's Moon Children, H.G. Wells' Star Begotten, Peely's Star Guest, but the first to use the phrase starseed was actually Timothy Leary. In the early 1970s, Leary was kicking his heels in Folsom Prison. Dang. Having been arrested for drug trafficking, he claimed he started to receive messages from the Star Sirius, calling humanity to evolve into interstellar super beings. He and another inmate, who also claimed he received Sirius messages, phrased these communications in their 1974 book, Terra 2, A Way Out. The aliens allegedly urged Leary to gather together 5,000 of the smartest, healthiest, and sexiest humans into a spaceship to leave Earth and seed another planet and raise a new species of ultra-intelligent, long-living superhumans. The crew are all apparently blind. In 1977, this idea inspired a hoax documentary on Anglia TV called Alternatives 3, which claimed to uncover a plot to send the elite to another planet. A similar space eugenic fantasy is found in Moonraker, also released in 1977. The same year, Stuart Brand published an issue of Coevolution Quarterly dedicated to space colonies, in which the white supremacist ecologist Garrett Hardin suggested any space colonies would only function if it was monocultural or monoracial. Meanwhile, the idea that some of us are starseeds whose souls originate on another planet was popularized by an American author, Brad Steger. After writing books about werewolves, vampires, and so on, Steger struck a rich vein with Gods of Aquarius, 1976, and Star People, 1980, both of which claimed some humans, particularly those drawn to the New Age literature, are actually starseeds from another planet. Steger claimed he could identify starseeds with a questionnaire, which asked readers questions like, did you always feel your parents weren't your real parents, and you have ancient ancestors? Are you unusually sensitive to light and emotions? Do you suffer from sinuses? According to your response, you could be a starseed, a star maiden like Steger's wife Shelley, or a slightly less exalted star helper. Needless to say, this proved immensely popular in New Age and UFO literature of the 1980s, and soon many spiritual influencers were declaring themselves starseeds. The phenomenon spread through the craze for past life hypnotic regression. Now you can recall life on other planets. Today you don't have to stop merely at claiming to be a starseed. There is an endless array of different alien races and species you might have been in a past life. Pleiadian, Lyran, Sirian, Arcturian, Lemurian, Gray, Orion, Reptilian, or Hybrid. In the New Age version of 23andMe, New Age hustlers are happy to take your money in order to trace your ancient cosmic heritage. You're almost certainly not from Earth, and you were probably very high up in the Galactic Federation. Galactic genealogy guides describe your space racial origins and characteristics. Accompanying this ever-expanding menagerie of alien races is an intricate and constantly evolving mythology of the cosmic past and present, a space opera of wars, catastrophes, and genetic engineering projects. And there is usually a future eschatology. Earth is now awakening. A judgment day is coming. As Ken Carey channels it in the Starseed transmission, there are but two roads before you. You can walk in the innocence of those who trust in the Lord, or perish in the impending collapse of your rational systems. There's obviously a strong Christian apocalyptic aspect to UFO culture. One finds this in the very popular works of Dolores Cannon, a past life regression hypnotist, who claimed that her client suddenly started remembering past lives on other planets, all which conveniently agreed on a common narrative. Earth was seeded by aliens, and humans now face a crisis. Some will ascend to a higher five-dimensional level, while others will fail to evolve. The Earth itself will be split into two, a new Earth where everything is wonderful, and the old Earth where everything is terrible. Cannon believed this split would happen in 2012, but the failure of that prediction has not put off her many followers on TikTok, who are excitedly preparing for 5D ascension to the new earth. Also, reminiscent of Christianity is the light language some starseeds speak, a cosmic version of speaking in tongues. But if UFO culture isn't quite evangelical and apocalyptic, it also riffs on eugenics, genetics, and the ideal of personal consumer eugenics. Starseeds preach DNA activation, the idea that we can upgrade our DNA and activate the supposed junk strands of it to fulfill our human or cosmic potential. All right, y'all. In conclusion, why do people align with Starseed Lore? And why is it so popular today? I got 3 reasons. Number 1, religious influence. If you're like me, you may have deep religious roots. So aligning with another belief system that borrows a lot of the rhetoric and eschatology, a chosen people, etc., isn't surprising. It's just replacing one mythology with another one. So a lot of charlatans and con artists prey on people who are confused and need answers. So they go after those who already have religious fantasies in their psyche anyways. So that's my number 1 reason. My second reason is those who are on some type of a spectrum or who are introverted. They're already isolated. They're hermit. They're those who people may call weird or strange, and they've always felt different from the rest, the black sheep, so to speak. And many people who have children who are on the spectrum, in order to self-diagnose, they morph these real issues into something special in order to encourage the child. Others who have personality traits, like I mentioned before, that are more introverted or isolated can also fall into this category, in my opinion. The sense of feeling alien to the world can lead one to believe it literally. Also, many millennials and Gen Zs being born in such a rapidly evolving world and geopolitical climate causes many to react by strongly disassociating where all of the uncertainties have a for sure answer. You get what I'm saying? So a few websites suggested that also, and I thought it was a perfect diagnosis because I found myself there. A lot of the questions that I had that I couldn't get the answers to that I wanted, well, I would just go somewhere where I could get the answers that I wanted that supported a preconceived notion or bias that I already had. So I think that that also is a major part of it. And I put that in the second category also because that's leaning, again, towards more of a personality trait, and obviously if you're on the spectrum of some sort. Now, the third category is just a sense of importance by itself. Now, this category wants to feel special. That's all they care about. This category differs from the last because if you have autism or ADHD, you truly have something that makes you stand out and that can affect your life in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? This category, on the other hand, is for those with an unhealthy sense of self-importance, where they put themselves and project outward a strong superiority over the rest of humanity or the group of their choice. You know what I mean? In turn, they have to separate the wheat from the tares through a series of meticulous clues, evidence that supports the answer that they already want anyways. So it's, again, confirmation bias. As you can see, with the multitude of different backgrounds, influences, and prejudices one can have, easily influences how the wheat and the tares look, so to speak. Others who fit this category are those who personality traits that lean towards narcissism or sociopathic. And again, you know, if you're narcissistic or sociopath, you already feel like you're superior and have a strong sense of self. You understand? So if a person like that gets into this type of doctrine or falls into this type of literature or mythology, they can hold these beliefs too. And that kind of brings me to the false awakening whole concept. The group that feels they're true starseeds, like maybe the ones who truly have disassociated to that place where they're deep into this rabbit hole and they're following all of the timelines. They're looking at the Draco-reptilian false light construct and everything. And those who are part of the third category, who have a strong sense of self-importance, they believe the popularizing and dumbing down of New Age concepts is all a part of the cosmic drama. The negative alien agenda has hijacked the divine meaning behind the lore, replacing it with the superficial, highly commercialized version you see all over Instagram and TikTok, in an attempt to deceive many by utilizing an artificial awakening. And again, the cosmic drama continues. So you can just keep going on and removing and adding to the story. Like I said, this whole thing was recycled, repackaged and sold back to us. But this is an extensive topic. The whole New Age movement involves all different forms of spirituality, practically. I had a whole lot of fun doing it the time that I gave it. This was really just an introduction into it. I didn't want to go too deep. It really was, no reason for me to go too deep unless you guys want it. If you guys want more stuff like this, let me know. Now, are any of you guys Starseeds? What do y'all think about the New Age movement and star people? Hit me up on the Q&A on Spotify or wherever I post this. This has been a Truth Lives experience. Peace. I'm out.
Shit, look at them glow. The world is a stage. The creme de la creme. The cipher's the maze. My vision is haze. My soul in a cage. The rebel of light refuse to be played. I'm trumped with them spades. I'm not entertained. Talking that shit while my testicles hang. I'm out of my body. The light is replaced. Identity gone. My ego debased. Galactic dimension and cosmic insane. I am my soul, so my title is changed. I'm full of that ganja. They say that I'm fake. I'm blowing that smoke. I'm like, fuck what they think. Your tongue is a fork. Keep playing your face. I carry my triton the side of her face. Your vision is blocked, you can't see past a rape. These niggas ain't crim, these niggas is cake. You murder your brother to stand in his place. They setting up mothers to cover they say. You playing with fire but scared of the flames. I fell from the ethers, they say that I'm strange. I second that statement, I say I'm deranged. They say that they travel to planets in space. I'm telling you space is inside of your brain. Dark matter, your fire and water contained. We're order from chaos, you're wonderfully made. The best in this age, the bringers of change. Yes, we are the stars, our missions ordained. We carry our cross through unstable terrain.